It happens where we are disappointed with our work. It can happen especially in the beginning of your career, but even as you get more experience, but are maybe trying something new. No matter the reason, it can be difficult to determine what to do. Let's explore our options. This is a question that gets asked often. Last week, a viewer wrote to me looking for advice. It was the first time he was getting paid for his work. It was an event. He did tons of research on the venue and made plans for what and how to shoot. He even arrived early for the event to get lots of environmental shots. Way to be prepared, right? And he said that all of those photos were great. Everything was going smoothly until the people showed up. It sounds like it kind of all fell apart from there. He estimates that only 20% of his photos are acceptable. He missed focus or used the wrong shutter speed, and he felt like he totally botched it. These are my thoughts. First, focus yourself away from what you didn't get and figure out what you did get. Take a deep breath, go through all of your photos, and put the ones together that you find acceptable. Or at least almost acceptable, but you might be able to work some post-processing magic. Then, when you have what you did get all together in the same place, reassess. Keep in mind that even if you are disappointed in your own results, I'll bet you still have some worthwhile shots. Our friend's 20% that I mentioned a minute ago, that 20% might well be great photos. When you know what you have, also think about if the client is going to get excited to see some of them. Are there a few that really hit it out of the park? And the thing that is most important to me, are you able to put together the story of the event using the photos that you have? If so, it may not be all that bad. It might be a success. I am all about honesty being the best policy, but there's no need to overshare with your client. If you met the requirements of the job, if you have a handful of good edited photos that tell the story, and you present those as the finished set, even if you had envisioned handing over something more, you can keep your disappointment to yourself. Just learn from it for next time. Now, what if the answer to some of those questions was no? What if you really can't salvage a solid set of photos, even with creative editing? That's when things get really tough. It seems like honesty and swallowing your pride would be in order here. An apology, along with a refund if they paid you, plus any photos that you did get, is the best solution. You can't go back in time. You may as well own up to the mistake and take the loss and learn from it for next time. I put this question out to my members earlier this week. Everyone pretty much said the same thing: apologize and refund the money. But one of my VIPs said something else interesting. He added that his reputation is more important to him than time or money. And I think that's an important thing to remember. I have always done my photography business through word of mouth rather than advertisements or fancy websites. So for me, reputation is not just important, it's everything. Now for an update. This particular viewer came back to me and said that he met with his client to share the images, and he said that not only did the client like the photos, she booked him for another event. So the moral of the story is this: make sure that you take a breath and separate what may just be disappointment that you didn't meet your own standards and what actually is an issue that you need to worry about. And with that, I have one last thought. If this ever does happen to you and you make it through to the other side, take the whole thing as experience. Learn from your mistakes and you'll be better for it. Now, if you're a newer photographer looking to prevent something like this happening to you, here's my advice from my own personal experience. I think that I prevented issues like this because I did so much work as a second or third photographer prior to taking any jobs on my own. I had so little pressure on those first handful of times that I was able to practice being a professional photographer. Even if I was assigned to just stand in the back during a wedding ceremony and then shoot off and told to go take environmental shots during the reception, I wanted to tell the story of the wedding or the retirement party or whatever the event is, or even an engagement portrait shoot. I wanted to tell the story even if I wasn't in the position to take the traditional must-have shots of any given event. I also kept my eye on how the pro did things. And after going through that enough times, I was able to keep my wits about me when I did finally step out on my own. So now I want to know, have you ever been in this situation? What did you do? If you're brave enough to share your experience, let us know in the comments below. You might just help somebody through a similar situation.